Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do a should you pull on the Deuce and Vivi banners. So I think there's going to be definitely some good things to be looking at here, and we'll kind of talk about that. So let's just start with any notable spheres that you might want to hold on to for EXs and any LD calls, right? So on the Vivi side, not really anything in terms of there's no really big desirable calls or spheres here, I would say. On the Deuce side, though, Deuce's sphere is very good. It's a D sphere with a party attack up. And then I would say a Mid-Italian has a really good LD call. I think it's still a fantastic call because it's just an on-demand turn delete and it throws down a lot of debuffs, which there are some cases where you just want generic debuffs thrown down. So I would say Mid-Italian's a great call. I don't know that I would chase it. I would say, though, if you're going for Deuce and you get a Mid-Italian LD, it's a really nice LD to max out for the call, right? And then, once again, Deuce Spheres, extra EX is definitely good and worth holding on to. In terms of the banners themselves, Sabin and Aphmau, right? Now, once again, keeping in mind that we are in the Force Retain era, we could do Force level 50. I think a character like Aphmau definitely gains a lot of value, right? Now, as I'm seeing it, just keep in mind, LD-only characters, I still think LD-only characters aren't ever a premium option, and they're not necessarily something you would want to chase except for special occasions, right, or special situations. But I would say that they're really good budget options to run if you don't have something else to use. So Aphmau, for example, is really about turn manipulation and giving other characters a lot of turns. So if you wanted to combo her with an Aranea or a Reigns or somebody or even a Astos or Kadaj just to give them a bunch of damage, Aphmau could definitely be good with that. She's kind of similar to Rem in a way where she's in the party, but you can kind of make her seem like she's not in the party by enabling other characters to get more turns. So she's definitely usable, but after seeing how quickly my Force stones are going, I don't know that I would recommend people invest these LD only characters to Force 50 unless they're really good and you're going to use them a lot. But keep in mind that even Aphmau at Force 30 is going to be fine. You'll still get Retain. It won't be as much as you would at full Force 50, but I think running a Force 30 Aphmau is maybe a usable option in some situations. Sabin, he's kind of a win damage dealer. He does have a bit of delay and a couple of other things, but he's not really worth going crazy on. He does have an FR, but his FR is older at this point. He needs a rework, so Sabin I don't think is worth chasing. I don't think Aphmau is worth chasing either. I just think that Aphmau could be usable if you're desperate to fill a party slot, right? And then Vivi, personally I'm not a fan of Vivi. He is a damage dealer. He's a dark and fire damage dealer. He's a big time AoE damage dealer. He can really put out a lot of numbers. But the big thing is he drains the party's health, which I'm not a big fan of. But if you have him with other healers and you can upkeep that, you're probably going to be okay. But I'm just not a fan of that playstyle of these characters that like to damage themselves. Now, something to keep in mind is I think Leonora is around the corner. I would say she's probably about a month away or so. I would not be surprised if we see her on the next community stream, right? Leonora has this interesting interaction where I don't think it was intended by the devs, but she ticks the gauge every time a party member heals. And what it is, and then she makes it so that I believe the party members can heal themselves when they attack. And it's really weird that a character like Arden, I know he has this interaction, and that's what all the JP videos were Arden. But he would, he can bring his health down to nothing, and then he can deal damage. Oh, I'm a little rusty on it, but I think I'm remembering it. I believe when Leonora's BT effect up is every brave hit heals the party. And so what happens is if you have a character that depletes their health down and they do a lot of brave hits, they're healing, and then every heal is a tick, and you would see some interactions where you get 600% gain in one action because every little tick counted as a percentage and it all added together, right? So the only reason I'm bringing that up now is Vivi is a character who depletes the party's health. So if you're someone that's I really like Leonora, I want to go all in on that strat, someone like Vivi could actually help you deplete HP of the party, and then every party member brave hit is healing you and giving you like a bunch of ticks, right? Now, somebody from JP can confirm if Vivi works with this combo, but I know it worked with Arden, and I know these other characters that like drain their own health. But I think Vivi, in theory, would help with that. Not that I'm saying pull for Vivi, but if you're really interested in draining your health for Leonora, sure, Vivi might be something you could go for here, right? Then we'll go to the Deuce side. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I think a Mid-Italian is a really excellent LD call to pick up. A Mid-Italian in the party, though, isn't going to be very good. There are, like, if you want turn deletion, then you want to run, like, Zidane. Because Zidane is a legitimately, like, very good, recently reworked character that does a lot, and he can delete turns, actually, probably almost as consistently as a Mid-Italian. So, yeah, you don't need a Mid-Italian in the party, but I think on a call, it's very good. Alisaie in the party, unfortunately, just pretty much a magic damage dealer, but nothing that's going to be worth using, even with retain. So I don't know that I would chase Alisaie either. Deuce, on the other hand, I think is actually kind of insane and a very fantastic character. So Deuce is a support, but they kind of made her like an ultra uber mega support, where I think she is going to crack like the probably top 3 support characters in the game. Could be even top 1 or 2. The thing with Deuce, when you look kind of up and down her kit, she does so much like HP damage up for the party and like max brave overflow and like brave stolen overflow. Like it's just riddled throughout her kit. Like her whole kit, like every buff she puts on is just increasing all of these insanely good stats that you want on the party. The other thing with her that's kind of nice is that she does have force charging, which is very good. You want that. She has a ton of brave gaining and healing, right? And then her BT effect does pretty much just generic BT buffs, but she gets a very special buff from it to the party, which really helps HP damage and overflow, and it's just all additive. Like, you look at, I think she's got, like, alone, I think she's got 3 different unique buffs, because I think she's got one called Note and, like, one called Sonata, and then she gets, like, another one that, so what it is her BT effect doesn't directly give the buff, but it gives her, like, a follow-up attack, and when this off-turn attack goes, then it gives this party another unique buff. And I think all 3 unique buffs are giving like HP damage up to the party, max overflow, brave cap, like just insanity, like all the stuff she's doing for the party. She's probably going to be one of the best characters to like make other characters look their best. And I think Deuce is a character where they've done a really good job of like defining like, okay, this is a support character and they are going to be an uber mega support. And the other thing, her FR condition, it's basically 40% for having the note buff on, which if you have her in the party, everybody's going to have that note buff on. So it's a free 40% for everybody. It's just acting while having the buff on. And then the other one is just brave gaining. So you know immediately what I'm thinking in my head. This is another character that Aerith can echo for 160 on. But it's another character that's also got that Rosa effect where they're very flexible, where like bare minimum, every character is going to be getting 40% because you're going to have the note buff. And then a ton of characters brave gain. It's like a very common thing to brave gain. So a lot of characters are going to get 80%. You potentially, you know, this is a character that could get the best of both echoes, right? Because typically you either have an echo that like you do an attack and like the best you can get is like 100% on it, or you have a character where like you don't have to attack and you can get that crazy 160. Well, I think you can get both of them here because I think there are characters out there that will do FRs, that deal attacks, that brave gain, and then you're also going to have the note buff on. So I think there even will be attacking FRs that can hit 100% on her, and then ones like Aerith that don't attack that can do 160. She is just like an insanely good support character, and support characters are the types of characters that you really can't have too many of, and you want a lot of options for supports. So, and you know, I will say that when I did my monthly should you poll, I think I did underplay Deuce a little bit, but I've had more time to like really look at her kit and understand actually how insane she is. I would say Deuce is the type of character that we could consider must pull territory. If you have a bunch of really good supports, right? You have Aerith and Rosa. Realistically, do you have to have Deuce? No, you don't. But if you're like a newer account, I think Deuce is a character you want to have in your box. And I would say she's more must pull than Kadash for me personally, because damage is a lot easier to replace where support isn't. There's not, like, to find the characters, the amount of characters that are going to be doing what Deuce does in terms of all the support ability, your force charging, generic force condition, all of the crazy HP damage up and Brave Gain healing. Like, she just has everything you want. She's a character that's going to age well because all of that support stuff is going to age well. Like, it's going to be good down the road. I think she's actually a very safe investment, and I think I've talked myself into, like, I'm going to gem her. Like, I think she's a must gem. I'm going to green her. I'm going to go crazy on her, and I'm going to make her look really good, and I think she is a fantastic character. So anyways, guys, you let me know what you think about Deuce. Let me know if you're going to pull her or not, but I think she's great. If you're on the fence, stay tuned for my character guide. I might stream for her. We'll see what I'm doing that night. But whether I stream or not, I'll try to get the guide out that night. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.